You know, in a city like Mumbai, a place that literally never sleeps, just teeming with millions of people, there are countless stories. Most of them, they happen right out in the open, under the bright city lights. But some stories get buried deep down, inside the concrete and steel.
Yeah, they lie there, dormant, in the quiet corners of these packed buildings just waiting. And some stories, as we're about to find out, they just refuse to stay buried. This is one of those.
So our story kicks off with a woman named Muskan. She was at the start of a whole new chapter in her life, full of promise, big ambitions. She'd just landed this amazing, high-paying job right in the heart of Mumbai. All that was left was finding a place to call home. And with a salary that had just tripled, let's just say money was not an issue. She could afford pretty much any apartment she wanted. So her agent finds her this perfect place in a really nice building in Churchgate. It was spacious, super modern, and had this unbelievable view of the sea. It was literally everything she'd ever dreamed of.
But as he's handing her the keys, the agent says something kind of strange. He tells her, yeah, the building's really lively during the day, but after the sun goes down, it gets quiet, like really quiet. And he couldn't even explain why. Muskan, though, she was just so caught up in the excitement of it all, she just kind of brushed it off. A warning she would very, very soon regret ignoring.
Now, Muskan wasn't the kind of person to just stay cooped up inside. I mean, this is Mumbai, right? So on her very first night, she calls up a friend ready to go out and celebrate. All dressed up for the night, she walks out of her ninth floor apartment and heads straight for the lift. She steps into this modern, automatic lift. The doors slide shut, sealing her in that little metal box. She hits the button for the ground floor, pulls out her phone, like you do, as the lift starts its smooth journey down. So the lift is humming, moving down. But then, just one floor down, it kind of shudders to a stop. The doors slide open, and this was not the ground floor. She looks out, and she's on the 8th floor, but it was dark, dead silent, and it looked completely unfinished, almost like an abandoned construction site. You could see dust sheets covering weird shapes, and the air was just thick. Nobody lived here, so who called the lift? Confused, she lets the doors close and presses G one more time. The lift goes down and stops. The doors open, and she's right back on the 8th floor. Okay, now this cold knot of panic is starting to form in her stomach. She tries again, and every single time the lift pretends it's going to work, only to bring her right back to this creepy, silent, derelict floor. Finally, on maybe the 6th try, the lift actually works. It takes her all the way to the ground floor, no stops. Shaken, but still determined to have a good night, she meets her friend and just tries to push the whole bizarre thing out of her head. But when she gets back hours later, around 3 in the morning, she walks into a building that was completely, unnervingly silent. As she's walking through the totally empty lobby, the lift doors just slide open before she even gets close to the button. It was like it was waiting for her. She hesitates for a second, then steps inside, pressing the button for her floor, number 9. This time, the lift doesn't stop where it's supposed to. It just shoots right past her floor, past 10, 15, all the way up to the top floor, the 20th. Muskan just stares in horror as the display flickers and then shows a brand new number, 30. But that's impossible. The building only has 20 floors. The lift doors open to pure darkness and ruin. It looked like the skeleton of a building, completely open to the night sky. Thinking this has to be some kind of awful mistake, she carefully steps out, looking for a security guard, for anyone. The second her feet are on the floor, the lift doors slam shut. It goes down without her, leaving her completely stranded in the dark. And then, the whispers started. They came from everywhere at once, just slithering out of the darkness. "It's your turn now," a cold voice hissed. "Jump from here," said another. "You'll like it. There is no other way out." They were all around her, this ghostly chorus, basically inviting her to her own death. After what felt like forever, she hears it, that faint chime of the lift coming back up. The doors open, and she just scrambles inside. As the doors start to close, her eyes finally adjust to the dark outside, and she sees them. These gaunt, nightmarish figures standing right there. They weren't human. They were like corpses, ghouls. Their empty eyes were just fixed on her. She had found where the whispers were coming from. The lift finally gets her to her floor. She bursts into her apartment, her mind just absolutely reeling with terror. That was it. She was done. She wasn't spending another second in this place. She just starts frantically throwing all of her things back into her suitcases, desperate to just get out of there.
There was no way, absolutely no way, she was getting back in that lift. She grabs her bags, runs for the stairwell. But as she's running down, this awful realization hits her. To get out, she has to go down. And to go down, she has to pass the place where it all started, the 8th floor.
And sure enough, as she reaches the 8th floor landing, she hears it again, that same cold whisper right next to her. It's your turn now. But this time, something snaps. The fear turns into just frustration. She follows the sound, and it leads her to one single apartment door that's just a little bit ajar. Inside, there's a woman standing with her back to the door, just staring out at the balcony. Her hair, her dress, they were exactly the same as Muskan's. "Who are you?" Muskan screams. "Why are you doing this to me? Show me your face."
Slowly, the figure turns around, and Muskan sees a face she knows better than any other in the world. It was her own. A perfect, chilling reflection. But the smile on its face, that was not her smile. It was cold, and it was cruel. And as that horrifying truth just washes over her, Muskan's world goes completely black. The next time she opens her eyes, she's back in her own bed, on the 9th floor. Sunlight is streaming through the window. There was no sign of anything that had happened. Her bags were gone, the 8th floor apartment was locked up tight, totally empty. It felt like it was all just a terrible nightmare.
But Muskan knew. She knew it was real. Without even thinking about it for a second, she walked out of that apartment, she left the city, and she never, ever looked back. The terrifying mystery of what actually happened that night, it stayed unsolved, buried once again inside that building's walls. Now, here's the part that is truly chilling. It's what was uncovered about the building later. There are public records you can look up, records of over 20 confirmed suicides, and every single one of them happened on the 8th floor. The exact same floor that, to this day, remains completely and mysteriously empty. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a city with millions of people, stories are everywhere, just waiting for someone to tell them. But when a dark story like this one latches onto you, when it chooses you, can you ever really leave it behind? Or does it just follow you,